So, I want to introduce Crystal to you, and I want to tell you a little bit of how this came about. Crystal's sister and I met in a bathroom stall. When I was going through my drug court protocol, her sister was the one who was there to supervise me, and she always had an encouraging word for me, and she always told me, you can do this, and I believe in you. And her sister prayed for her baby sister every time that I walked in that office, and we would hold hands and pray over Crystal and over her salvation and over her freedom from the place that she was chained. And we saw that come to fruition. So I just want to say, if there's somebody out there that is lost in addiction and looks hopeless, keep praying.
Amen.
Keep praying, because it works.
Yeah.
I've watched Crystal walk through some crazy things and come out strong. And I'm very proud of her. And I just know that she's going to bless you guys tonight.
Amen.
Hello, some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Crystal Urquilla. I'm a 50-year-old widow, and I have 3 lovely children, Austin, Raquel, and LaSherica, and they gave me 7 beautiful grandchildren. LaSherica and Levi gave me Caden, Kalani, True, and Jack. Raquel and Stephen gave me Sophia, and my son Austin gave me Naomi and Liliana. I was born into a loving married couple, Cyril and Beverly, and with my sister, and they divorced when I was 5 years old. So my mother moved around with us 2 girls into different places because she was just a single mom, and that led to me being sexually abused by every place we moved to. I was sexually abused by somebody there in that house, and so that went on from the time from 11 to 13 years old. And by the time I was 13, I was brutally raped by my stepfather, and I left home because nobody was listening to me. So I just left home. I ran away. My sister had already ran away when she was 11. She was gone. Nobody could find her. And so when I was 13, I kept running away. Finally, when they would catch me, my mom just couldn't take anymore, so the state took over custody of me. And I was in a group homes, and I was 16, graduated group home, my first group home, got out. First thing I did was ran to a man's arms, or a boy's arms, and got pregnant the first time with my son. And had him by myself, and within 2 years I had another daughter. I had a daughter, another child. And then after I had her, another baby. I didn't realize I know now what I was doing was I was running to somebody that made me feel good about myself, even though that's what hurt me my whole life that I knew. So that led me into drinking. I was an okay mom. I just didn't know how to be a mom. That led me into drinking really heavily. I was like a soccer mom. My kids would go to their practices and their games. I would go, but I always had my drink with me. And never did no drugs. At this point, never did drugs because I wanted to be the best mom that I could be, that I thought I could be. So raising my kids, I ended up giving my baby, I ended up letting her go be with her grandparents because I just couldn't handle it. I wasn't a very good mother at that point because I was drinking a lot and it was really showing. And so I let her go be with her grandparents. And my grandmother raised me, like when we would go, when my mom and dad separated, we would go to my grandma's during summer break, and she introduced me to Jesus. And I was 11 years old, and I remember getting baptized and speaking in tongues for the first time. It was amazing, the most beautiful feeling I ever felt in my life. But I still strayed away from God because I didn't understand it. And I want to throw that in there real quick because that's a big, because I did know about God. I did know about Jesus. So I would take my kids and we'd go to church and go in and out of church, and I'd have boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend and have guys in the house, and it was horrible. Well, God sent me this man. He did send me this man. I absolutely know this. He sent me this absolutely perfect, I thought it was perfect, this man lived in El Salvador. He was working on some brickwork outside of my job. Anyway, we talked. We were like equally yoked. We believed in the same things, and we both wanted to do missionary work. We wanted to go to his country and build a church. Well, we ended up dating, and he was just so good. He prayed me through my addiction with alcohol. I was healed from that. I mean, I didn't want to drink ever again. So anyway, my kids graduated. We moved to his country of El Salvador. We built a church, and it was just beautiful. It was the most beautiful thing I think I'd ever done in my life. And but there was still something I hadn't taken care of. I hadn't surrendered everything to God. That's what it was. Even though he sent me this beautiful person to love me, I still hadn't surrendered everything to God. I hadn't taken care of any of those things that happened to me in my life. And that's very important. You must do that. And so we were in his country for several years. My daughter got pregnant. I had to come back here to go to work. And so waited about a year and a half. He's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and skip over from El Salvador and go to Mexico to work for a couple of weeks so I can get the money just to swim back across. So I was like, okay, whatever you got to do, you just get home. Well, while he was there in Mexico working, he was murdered. And so that was it. The God that I loved, that I knew, I was done with him. I was done. I thought he'd taken the most important thing that ever happened to me. And so I ran as far away from God as I possibly could. I wanted nothing to do with him, nothing at all. So for 7 years, I was a prostitute. I hurt people a lot, physically, emotionally. I hurt people. That's all I wanted to do was hurt people because I hurt so bad inside. So I hurt people really bad. I was prostituted out into Mexico. Trafficked, whatever you want to call it, and God got me out of there, because how I got out of there was it was all him. It was all him. Got out of there, came back here, prostituted on the streets. I lived in the streets. I was living on park benches and bushes, anywhere I could possibly rest my head. I did every type of drug in the world, but what I want. The main neat notes of this today is, yes, I went through that. But I had women that was praying for me when I didn't even want to believe in God anymore. I didn't want that. I didn't want anything to do with it because I'd been hurt as a girl. The husband he brought me had been murdered, and I was here alone. So these women, my sister, my Tony, my grandmother, kept praying for me and praying for me. My sister would come she would come on the streets and she would find me and she'd be like, sister, please. I'm begging you, please. I'm like, I don't have a problem. I don't have a drug problem. I mean, and if you could look at that, if that's what I look like. That's exactly what I looked like when I was saying, I don't have a drug problem. I don't have a drug problem. I don't have a hurt problem. My soul's not hurt. I'm just fine. I'm doing what is making me happy. No. Okay, well, those prayers worked. Not the way I thought I wanted them, but those prayers worked because one night at Grant Beach Park, I was sleeping on a park bench. I had fallen asleep because I didn't have my drugs. I fell asleep. The cops came and found me, and I had gotten a drug charge several years prior to that I was running from, and they picked me up, and I knew I was facing 15 years because the judge had already let me out a couple times. She said, "Next time, that's it. You're done. You're gone. 15 years and you're done." So I was running off. I was off grid. That's why I lived in the parks and on the street because I was not going to prison. Well, that night, it was an answered prayer, because that was when my life began. It was April 16th of 2022. I knew God had come and snatched me up out of my mess. And I was ready. I was ready, completely ready. Not because I went to jail and I just wanted to get out. I was ready because I was so tired. I was exhausted. I was so little bitty. I was so unhealthy. I was so hurt. And all he wanted to do was just let me know, hey, I'm here and I'm going to hold you through all this. And I let him do that. And I want you to know now, I'm going on 4 years sober. I'm a certified nurse's aide, but I also went back to high school and started something that 14-year-old little girl didn't have an opportunity to do. I went back for her, and I got my high school diploma, and I graduated last month. And now I'm working on my CPS, which is a certified peer specialist.
Woo.
I am going to be working, hopefully, with the same drug court that I graduated from 2 years ago in Christian County. I'll be working through their courts. I'll be certified to help people on their journeys through recovery. This is what I'm meant to do. I love giving my testimonies. I love helping men and women. I love giving them advice. I've been there. They can't trick me because I've done that. You know, it's easier for them to understand somebody who's been there, who's gone through it. So, anyways, I'm working on my CPS right now. I'm doing my training. I take my state exam on the 17th of November, and then I'm enrolled in Drury. I will start Drury in January. I'm going to go for my certification for substance use, behavioral addictions, and then I'm going to work on my bachelor's in applied psychology. So, this is what, when Miss Tony said, keep praying, that right there, I'm an answer. She never stops praying. My sister never stops praying. If you have a loved one out there who is suffering with addiction, or if you're just somebody who is in addiction right now, or if you need help, or you just want to give everything to God and you don't know how to do it, go to the altar or go to your foot or your bed. I don't care where it's at, and just lay down on your face and just give it to Him. He'll take all that pain away. Let me tell you right now, I'm the happiest. I don't have relationships. It's been 4 years, which is very important that people should know. I've been celibate for 4 years. I've been completely fallen in love with Jesus. He is the number one in my life. And I just want you to know that. Never stop praying. Never stop loving on people, because that's what we're here to do. And I love all you guys, and I love you. But God.
Yes, amen.
That's it.